It's the Don't Make It Weird podcast with your hosts, Daniel and Dinosaurus.
Ahoy there, and welcome to the Don't Make It Weird podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Daniel Quigley, and I can't keep doing this because it's going to turn into an Irish accent. I'm not a very good voice actor, but this is the Don't Make It Weird podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts. We are the writing, storytelling, comedy podcast for the writing community, by the writing community. And guys, I'm joined, as always, by my better half, the sly sweetie who takes no sass because she's always a sneaky lass, Dinosaurus!
Are you ready, kids?
Are we doing SpongeBob now?
Oh, I've actually never seen an episode of SpongeBob. Fun fact.
Well, your cult wouldn't let you do that.
Yeah, no. I was raised in a cult, and I wasn't allowed, so.
Yeah, no, it's true. And it's okay, Dina. And, you know, maybe we'll do... I like that you know the song, at least.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I could sing the whole song because I studied it to try to, like, fit in with people. But
that was your studying, was to study SpongeBob song?
God.
Can you do,
so
like,
sad.
Sweet Victory? Can you do Sweet Victory?
No, I only know the theme song. I didn't know there was more songs.
Oh, Dina. But you know who
Right.
might know our songs, Dina? Because we've got a special guest this week. Who could it be? Our guest this week is an emerging author of period romance who recently found traction on TikTok when she asked for just 2 more pre-order sales to stick it to a bully who said that she'd never make it over 40. She ended up with so much more. The Sneaky Lass book 1 of the Silver Locket is available now. Kennedy Sutton, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Kennedy, how much SpongeBob do you know?
I watched SpongeBob every day of my life for like 12 years. So a lot.
Oh my God, this is the perfect.
And over my head. Okay.
I mean, way over my head. Can you give us any bars of Sweet Victory, Kennedy?
It's a sweet, sweet, sweet victory. Yeah.
Yes!
That one.
Oh my God, she actually did, like, most people do not oblige Daniel at all.
They always ignore me.
Just
They
straight ignore.
This is
Oh
incredible.
no. I sang professionally for a while. I have a lot of talents.
What the fuck is happening, guys?
Kennedy,
Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
Kennedy,
Surprise.
we're going off the
Daniel,
rails here.
Don't you do it.
No, we're not doing
Sean,
that.
I need to do it. Sean, let me do it.
Oh my
Don't you
God.
do
Sean,
it.
please. Kennedy, can you sing just a little bit of Mbop for me?
Don't do it.
Please.
I don't know if I know beyond bop 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 dooby dop ba doo up doo bop ba doo. Yeah, that
Oh
one.
my God.
Yes, that's the one. I'm so happy.
Oh my God,
Just wrap
Daniel's
the
gonna
show. I'm
replace
good.
me.
Yeah, Kennedy, I'm looking for a new co-host.
Okay,
Oh,
Daniel,
no.
you've maxed out your weird random requests of our guests for the rest of the night. That's it. You knocked them out early. It's all
I
business
can't
from
do
here.
that.
You can. You're
He
gonna
got
have
too
to.
excited, too fast. That's what she said.
I damn it.
Oh, that's what she said. I
Yep.
knew that one.
Yep. Damn it. Okay, that's 2.
So guys, we have one more member of the team, someone that's near and dear to my heart. And girl, can he be your sneak producer? Be your sneak producer. Girl, can he be your sneaky buffalo? We sneaky. Girl, can he be your sneaky cooked liver? Sneaky liver. Be your cooked. Girl, could he be your sneaky wet seal? Sneaky wet seal. Yeah, he's your sneaky wet seal. Producer Sean, everyone.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Sean, we should have actually fired him.
Yeah, this is Daniel's
Sean?
first episode back after being replaced by Alexander James, and we immediately regret it.
Listen, I was between that and doing It Wasn't Me, but It Wasn't Me doesn't really say sneak in it, so
It
I
wasn't-
know 10 minutes ago you Googled songs that have the word sneak in it and then just replaced a bunch of words with cringy copulation references. I get it.
Yes.
I know,
Yes,
I know,
that is
yes,
correct.
I know your routine.
Yeah. That's 100% right.
Well, thank you for that, Daniel. And Kennedy, welcome to the show. For the folks at home,
Thank you.
Kennedy is joining us for Buffalo tonight. She is right-handed, so she will be drinking with her left hand. And as a reminder, when you hear this buzzer, that means we have to drink.
All right, Sean, I know I said that I wouldn't ask any more off-the-wall questions, but I have to ask one more.
Oh, my God, Daniel.
It's already hitting the cutting room floor, but go ahead.
Can you clip it?
Kennedy. No. Kennedy, how do you feel about Jar Jar Binks?
I don't have a very big opinion on Jar Jar Binks, except that I think that people hate him more than they should because, like, you know, I thought he was funny when I was a kid, and the movies are what the movies are, and everybody should just enjoy Star Wars for what it is, because I enjoy all of Star Wars.
I like that.
I like that answer too.
That's a mic drop.
That's a mic drop.
I like that.
That's dealing with all the toxicity right there. But you want to know what, guys? Here's the thing, Kennedy. You are. We've talked about it a little bit off air. You are our unicorn because you're like the only writer we've ever had that's not on Twitter. But you kind of got a little bit of fame. You went viral for a little something that happened on TikTok. Producer Sean, do we have that for everyone?
We do. Just a moment.
So great.
Oh, I know. This
So
was
everybody
awesome.
that like normally watches the show is gonna know that like this, what we're about to watch, is literally my level of petty, and everybody's
God,
gonna be
I
like,
love
"Oh
it.
yeah, that's definitely Dina right there." Like, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Kennedy.
Apparently,
you're-
you and half the internet.
Yeah, for real.
we are team petty here. If we have an opportunity to be petty, I support it. This is family here.
Yeah.
All right.
Please stop scrolling. I'm an indie author and I need your help. You see that number? The Sneaky Lass, my debut novel, has 39 pre-orders. And that's actually phenomenal. That's amazing. That is like nobody knows who I am. I've written a book and 39 people thought to pre-order it. That's awesome. Now here is where I need your help. So I have this friend who's not really a friend, and she overheard me talking to my actual friend about how I was going to publish a historical romance about pirates. And she said, I quote, "I bet you never even sell 40 copies." I don't know why she chose 40. Maybe she tried publishing a book and she only sold 40. I have no idea. But it became my goal in life to get 41 pre-orders. My book releases in a week. So if you have seen my content and you like me and you thought, wow, that book about a woman who disguises herself as a man and jumps on a pirate ship, I maybe want to read that, now is the time.
Yes.
So good.
So talk to us a little bit. Give us some more context because right now I've already named. What are we going to name her, Dina? Dina, what are we going to name this woman? The one that the snarky.
Let's name her Rebecca with a K.
Rebecca with a
Rebecca
K.
with a
So
Just a single K, not double K.
Kennedy, whenever we tell a story on the show, we don't want to dox someone. We make up a fake name for them. So in this case,
But that's good because I actually don't know this woman's real name.
Oh,
Like,
she's
we
Rebecca
just
with a
hang out
K.
at toddler gym. Yeah, her son's name's Colin. That's what I know.
Collins.
This girl. So I mean, so you had this conversation. She comes at you with the "I bet you won't sell 40 of these." Like, what was your reaction in that moment? Like when she first dropped the subtle snark? Because this sounds like this sounds like a Southern lady's thing to do, and I don't know where you're from, but this sounds like a Southern lady's move.
I'm in East Texas.
Yeah.
And
There it is.
and that's exactly what it felt like. And my friend who I was talking to, she was like, "Oh my gosh, what are you putting out?" Because I've just started telling people that I'm an author. Like when they ask, "What are you up to? What do you do?" I'm an author. And I told her that I'm an author, and of course that always makes everybody look up because they think authors equals famous, which is just not a thing.
Right.
And I start telling her about how I've written a series of 8 novels and they're set in the golden age of piracy and how excited I am about them. And then this woman just kind of inserts herself and told me that. And I'm not a conflict person. Not that I won't, tell people when they're wrong, but she said that and I was just like, well, good for you, bitch. And, yes, I didn't say that, but you know the look, like the
glare.
Okay, well, whatever your problem is, that sounds like a you problem.
Yeah.
And then I got home and I was like, maybe I'm not worth anything. Maybe I'm not a good author.
Yeah,
maybe like imposter syndrome, like settled over my shoulders like a lead weight. And I made this video, and it turns out BookTok took her comments very personally.
And
they
listen,
should.
we're about to, as they should, and I took that personally.
Yeah.
Man, and so we've got an update video here that was released as of today of the recording. And producer Sean, what do we got, buddy?
Okay, so one more update for everybody on the Sneaky Last pre-orders. 928 pre-orders for my debut novel, The Sneaky Lass, which is a pirate historical romance about a woman in disguise. And 216 pre-orders for its sequel that comes out in 6 weeks. This book comes out tomorrow, an ebook. It's going to hit all of your e-readers sometime tonight, and I am so excited for so many people to read my book. A lot of people have already ordered the paperback on Amazon, and signed copies are going to be available again on Friday. And I am so excited. Beyond excited, really. None of this feels real, but it feels really serendipitous, and it wouldn't have happened without all of the wonderful human beings out there on BookTok. So thank you.
Now listen.
It's nice that we got the update where I didn't cry.
we can like edit in some tears if you'd like. Like we can just,
No, she
All you'd
has
have to
other
do is go to
TikTok
my
and
TikTok
shit, yeah.
page. I cried in every update leading up to that day.
Yeah.
I'd finally gotten past crying hysterically.
I wanted the
now
latest
listen, Kennedy.
update, so that's why I grabbed that one.
It's a good one. and listen, Kenny, I want to talk to you about how that feels in 1 second, but I know you're gonna want to take the high road here, be a good person, not really rub it in anyone's face. But this is why we have Dina here. Dina, could you speak, your feelings and thoughts and put them out in the universe to Rebecca on behalf of
Rebecca
Don't
with a
Make
K.
It Weird, and Rebecca with a K.
Rebecca with a K, not our Rebecca.
Yeah.
How's it feel, bitch? Literally do not fuck with BookTok. I have so much respect for BookTok, and I'm so bad at it. But, like, don't fuck with BookTok. Like, it will make or break you, and they will gather to help with the petty, and I love it. It's beautiful.
I love it. I love it. So Kennedy, how does it feel? You are the debut author. 3 months ago, you said, according to your own TikTok, that you knew nothing, you had no idea what you were doing, and now you've got the dream, man. An indie author selling,
got the dream,
getting right up there to 1,000 freaking books. How are you feeling?
That never happens.
Yeah,
I feel like the luckiest person on the planet, and I have always considered myself to be a relatively lucky person. But I never expect it. And maybe that's why it happens. But most of my TikTok videos get 200 views. Like once a week, somebody would comment and say, I bought your book, or I'm really excited to read this. And I would be like, yes, the marketing's working. And I think that's how most indie authors and self-published authors feel. And when I put out that video, I fully expected to get my 2 more pre-orders. I anticipated getting 2. I thought maybe I'll get 10. Wouldn't that be really something? And it wasn't until it'd been up a couple of hours that I was like, I'm up to 100. And that's when I went on to Amazon real quick and was like, better make this not 99 cents. And make sure my royalties are at the top percentage.
Yeah, for sure.
And then as the hours went on, and then the next day, and that video kept getting more and more views and more comments, and people were stitching it and saying, go check out this girl, we're gonna support her. That felt like, is this happening to me? And I cried for like 3 days straight, like at the drop of a hat.
And your kids are probably so confused right now, right? Like, what?
They're very accustomed to me being a nervous wreck. So
That's fair.
Like they see me, I annotate pirate romance into my phone out loud. They think mommy just talks to herself all the time. So it's fine.
Same though.
She's got
So,
multiple
but
personalities that answer her.
Yeah.
Mommy needs a little bit of help, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Mama's
Yeah.
gonna drink some rum. It's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
but hey, listen. We are a storytelling podcast here, and I heard that you've got a little personal story to tell us. So why don't you tease the audience? Give them a little piratey tickle, if you will. You know, a parrot on the shoulder, if you will.
About my story that has nothing to do with pirates.
Oh,
Yes.
we don't know that yet. We have no context.
We don't know.
Yeah, no context. We don't. Could
Okay.
be pirates.
Could be pirates.
Possibly pirates.
I'm going to tell you about the time I traveled 1,800 miles to go see the final show of the Ringling Brothers circus, and I only had $800.
Oh.
So wait, can I just say something to this story real quick? Like we're not gonna have any context, so Kennedy can't really answer. But my dad was actually in Carson and Barnes Circus as an elephant trainer or handler. So Ringling is like our enemy. So this could go either direction.
Yeah. I mean, listen, she's already checked all my boxes, Dina, so she can do no wrong in my mind.
It's true. It's fair.
All right.
Well, to be clear, I'm a fan of all circuses. That's why I went.
All inclusive
so.
here.
all
Yeah,
circus
I don't have-
inclusive.
Yeah, like Cirque du Soleil, the scary circus that only speaks Spanish that occasionally comes to the mall parking lot. I'm there for it. I'm pro circus.
What's the scary circus?
That'll.
Have you ever spent time in Houston? Because the scary circus comes all the time, and they come from Mexico. And
Phrasing.
they only speak Spanish, and they put up their tent in like the furniture store parking lot, and you go.
Is it
Cash
scary?
only.
Okay.
Cash only.
We have
and
something
you have-
similar in Florida.
oh my God.
Yeah, I bet you do.
I know what
I
you're
It's
wanna
talking
about
go to
about.
the
zoning laws,
scary
and there
circus
aren't
now.
any.
Yeah.
I want to go to the scary circus now. I'm so intrigued.
We're
can
never
record an
letting you go
episode.
to
I mean,
the scary
there's lots of,
circus,
like-
buddy.
It's a great way to get a piece of like the weirdest version of Mexican culture. Like you get to eat all the Mexican junk food
Okay.
and
Say no more. I'm on
see
board.
a whole bunch. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
I'm
And,
in. Let's do it.
you know, and like you don't know what anyone's saying, but you know what's going on because it's a circus. It's like that guy's gonna get in a cage with a tiger, like, and a motorcycle.
Sure.
We're gonna see what happens. Like,
Holy shit, this sounds insane. I'm so in.
No, Daniel,
Oh my
you
God.
would literally get killed in these situations. You're too much of a
No,
golden
I don't want to
retriever.
be.
At the very
don't wanna
least, you'll be like cursed with nightmares for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I'll get
they're
the
really
circus
very
curse.
friendly. They're very family friendly. Sort of.
Wait. All right.
They're
We
really
are
family
very
friendly
convincing.
and in the scariest part of town. Sorry.
Wait, no, okay. So is it actually called the Scary Circus, or is it its nickname
No, that's a
because of the
nickname.
areas of town?
Oh no, I don't. I live where people speak Spanish, but I only know how to say like, "Do you need to go to the bathroom, honey?" and how to order
¿Dónde
a
está la biblioteca?
order a breakfast taco. That's it.
Donde está la biblioteca?
Yeah.
All right, guys. We're getting way too off track here. It's time to bring back an old favorite for our games today. Sean, what do we got, man?
We're bringing back True Confessions. It's a game based on the same game that Jimmy Fallon plays on The Tonight Show. We've done it with a number of guests. It's a fan favorite. Everyone here has prepared 2 random facts about themselves, or stories, if you will. They'll be asked to tell one of 2 of those things, and they will be interrogated, and they will sell it as if it's the truth. Whether it's true or false, at the end, the interrogators will decide if they were telling the truth. And
Let's do this, baby.
I'm ready.
who wants to go first? Who should go
It's
first
guest
today?
first.
Guest
It's guest first, always. Yeah.
All
Well,
right,
wait, no,
so
she
story-
might not know how to play. So maybe.
She said she knows how to
I
play.
think Dina should go first because she came unprepared.
Oh,
That's fair. That's fair. All right.
Yes.
all right. So in that
Okay.
case, Kennedy, do you want to hear?
Actually, Sean, can I go first?
No, Daniel.
Actually, Dina, could you go first?
I would love to go first. Fuck you. Hate that stupid
So-
bit.
The bit lives.
It's
The
so
bit
dumb.
lives.
Kennedy, would you like to hear story number 1 or story number 2 from Dinosaurus?
Story number 2.
Okay.
Okay, story number
Who
2.
does number 2 work for?
Okay. Are we just starting, or is there going to be a...
Go ahead.
All right. I operated a business for 8 years.
Clock starts
What
now.
did you sell at the business?
Jewelry.
What kind of jewelry?
It was like handcrafted, beaded, and stitched rocks, jewels, things like that.
What kind of gemstones did you use?
It was mainly just like rocks that we would get mined and then like tumble and things like that.
Where did you guys get your handcrafted stuff from? Did you make them in-house, or did you get them in?
Yeah, we made them in-house.
Import.
How many times did you tumble your rocks to get them smooth and polished?
I think it was 3 barrels, but I don't remember. I was really young.
How'd you get into this business?
Because I came to my dad when I was 8 and I said, hey, can I have an allowance? And he said, no, get a job. So I made a business and I hired 2 employees and we went for it. So there we go.
All right, minutes
8
up.
years old?
Minutes up. Kennedy and Daniel, is Dina telling the truth?
I don't know. You guys said Dina was a part of a cult, and that sounds kind of culty.
She did grow up in a religious cult. It's 100% true fact.
I was at first. I was like, bullshit. Like tumbling rocks is really expensive, and but I don't know. Like, if you lived on a compound somewhere and your dad told you to make a business, tumbling rocks sounds like a good way to start.
You said get out and do a business.
I mean, her logic is spot on, and I love this. All right, Kennedy, what do you think? Yes or no? True or false?
False.
So here's the thing. For context here, because we've been at it this longer. Dina graduated high school at like 13 years old. She's got multiple
Not
college
13,
degrees
but
before she could drink. Yeah, it was basically.
It was basically 16,
Potato, tomato.
14, 15.
Yeah. 14. Yeah, tomato. And she had like 2 college degrees before she could drink. I know that I remember previous conversations where she said that she was ran a jewelry thing, so I think this is true. But I had no idea 8 years old, and so now this puts me back on the fucking fence. I'm gonna say true though.
The jury's divided. Dina?
Okay, it's true. I worked really hard to skate around it in conversations because I knew that it was on my true confessions list. So I was like,
Man.
yeah.
All right.
Yep.
I was with Kennedy on that one. I totally thought it was a lie, but well done.
Nope. We were pretty successful
Yeah.
until the stupid market crash.
All right, Kennedy,
Yeah, I bet.
let's go with you next. Dina, why
Okay.
don't you choose 1 or 2 for Kennedy?
1.
Story number
All right.
1. Go ahead.
Story number 1. I have little notes on a sticky note here.
Such a writer.
I once drove 6 hours through the Wyoming desert in search of a Pony Express outpost. And what ended up happening is I got chased by llamas for 6 miles and ended up at a Pizza Hut in Rawlins, Wyoming, which was only 2 hours from my home.
All right, 60 seconds on the clock starts now.
Are you directionally challenged?
No, I'm not.
Why were you looking for a Pony Express?
Because I'm really into history, I write historical romance.
You too, Daniel. Damn it.
So how many llamas were there?
There were 2.
And did you ever find the Pony Express?
I never did.
Did they spit on you?
Actually, I looked it up later and they didn't exist. Like, it had been burned down and there was like a plaque in the middle of the desert somewhere.
Did the llamas spit on you?
No, they never caught me.
How fast were you moving when the llamas were chasing you?
Probably like 20 miles per hour.
I have no other
Can
questions. Oh my
llamas
god, I'm
go
so
that
stunned.
fast?
I don't. Well, no, but
Hurry
they
up.
never caught her, so yeah.
Last question.
Oh
Did
my
you
god.
eat at the Pizza Hut?
Yeah.
Did I eat Pizza Hut?
Yes.
Yeah.
Time's up. Dina and Daniel. Is Kennedy telling
I
the
just want to
truth?
know so much about the llamas. Ugh, God.
Man, I mean, all right. So I cheated a little bit and I Googled, does Wyoming have deserts? Because I've been to like the Montana, Wyoming area, like, and I don't recall deserts, but it does have a desert. So that checks out. This sounds too insane to be made up. If you made this up, then you freaking got me. I'm saying true.
I'm gonna go with false. I feel like this is a secondhand story because she would have looked it up since Mrs. I write historical romance. She would have looked up that there was no Pony Express beforehand. So I'm gonna go with false.
Kennedy?
It's true.
2 for 2, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, I lived out in Wyoming, and my dad and I were big history buffs, and he would always pick these weird things to go find in the middle of nowhere. And we were on a dirt 2-track through this BLM land, and somebody had their llamas out there chasing us for miles because I guess our 1989 Suburban looked just like the one that fed them, and they didn't stop till we crossed the cattle guard.
There it is.
They thought that. Oh,
They thought you had the food. Kennedy, do you want to hear Daniel's story number 1 or story number 2?
Story number 2.
All right, Daniel, story number 2. Let's hear it.
One time in high school, I was big into wrestling, and I accidentally did a wrestling move to one of my best friend's girlfriends, and did not go well.
Okay, 60 seconds on the clock.
Oh wait, should I start? Shit. Which friend?
My buddy Chris.
How did it not go well?
Well, see, it's a move called the pedigree, where basically, listen, it's not sexual, but you put her head in between your legs and then you kind of just jump straight down. She didn't know how to sell the move. I thought she did because she was also big into wrestling, and she got a little injured.
Were you guys drunk?
No, we were literally, this was high school. This was down on grass.
Oh.
Like you didn't get drunk in high
Yeah, I was
school.
gonna say, we could have been drunk.
I'm sorry, Mom.
Did she break any bones?
Did not break any bones, but definitely got a little bit of a bloody nose, and was really angry at me afterwards.
Did she... Is she still with Chris? I don't...
Yeah, they're actually married. They just had their first kid, so congratulations.
Time's up.
Chris and, yeah.
Dina and Kennedy, is Daniel telling the truth?
I don't think he is.
I just don't know you very well, Daniel.
That's fair.
We're getting to know each
kinda-
other tonight.
Yeah, this is us bonding right now.
Can we be friends?
We're gonna be BFFs,
Okay,
all of us.
I think it's just because everybody's been dissenting so far. I'm gonna say that. So Dina says it's not true.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say it's true.
All right, producer Sean, what do you think, buddy?
I just drank with my wrong hand.
Hey, you just buffaloed
Oh.
yourself.
Wait, shit.
Buffalo!
That
That means you have to finish your drink, Kennedy.
She's got
There's not a
regrets.
whole lot left because I have a
Yeah, you're
problem
fine.
brain.
Just trying.
Look at that.
Let's
That's just
go.
a freaking let's go.
Listen, by the way, you don't have to buffalo yourself. You can be
Yeah.
sneaky about it.
Well,
Be a sneaky lass.
I've been trying really hard to use my left hand.
Same.
Yeah. So producer Sean, was that story true or false, buddy?
That story was absolutely true, except it was me and not Daniel who did
Yes,
it.
I knew it. I knew it because yes, I knew it. Oh, it had to be him stealing your fucking stories again. So that's what Kennedy. That's what Daniel does every time we play True Confessions. He tells a
Almost
story,
every time.
but yeah, well, it's been like twice that you haven't. Every time it's Sean's story.
Well, his
My
fake story is
husband
always
gave me
my
my
story.
false story, so I have
Yeah.
a fake story that's someone else's story.
There you go. See?
That's
See?
fair. Yeah. So for the record, let me just clarify. It wasn't. She did not break her nose or get a bloody nose. She bonked her head. It was on grass. It was on a lawn. It wasn't that serious. And I still feel bad to this day. Okay. So thank you for that. That happened.
So like when you had a hit and run and you felt really bad?
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me about that. This happened like 20 years
hit
ago.
And run somebody? That's
No.
terrible.
Oh my God.
Not a person, a car.
I was like, Sean, I thought I knew you.
I bumped into someone's taillight and it cracked their taillight. And instead of like leaving them a note or trying to, let them know it was me, I bolted. I was like 16, you guys. I didn't know any better.
Yeah. I did that once in an icy mall parking lot.
Yeah. Nobody was injured.
Totally did that once in an icy mall parking lot. It happens.
Yeah, this is cathartic. We're getting it all out here now.
All right. Well, this has been True Confessions. Thank you for reminding me of my trauma, Daniel.
Here for you anytime, buddy. And that was actually Chris that told me that story. So, you can thank him.
He wasn't even there for that.
Yeah, he was. Listen, he provided the inspiration. Yeah, I know he was still in England back then. We're all about storytelling here, and as such, we try to share a fun story each week. So, without further ado,
it's Storytime with Kennedy.
Okay, so to understand this story, you have to know two things about me. You have to know that the Ringling Brothers, I guess you have to know two things in general, not really about me. You have to know that the Ringling Brothers three-ring circus, as it was with animals and clowns and a big tent, ended in 2017, in May of 2017. And you also have to know that I love the circus, everything about the circus. And I started seeing the Ringling Brothers circus when I was really little. My grandpa Jack used to get these freebie tickets for us to be on the floor, and we'd get to go backstage and like meet the clowns and ride the elephants and do the whole 9 yards. And so when I learned that the Ringling Brothers three-ring circus was performing their last show in Long Island, New York in May of 2017, I was heartbroken, and I immediately got on the website and bought me and my boyfriend tickets. And then I was like, how are we going to get to New York 3 weeks from now? We only have $800. Well, what we did is we went to the grocery store and we bought a couple 12 packs of Diet Dr. Pepper, a whole bunch of peanuts, and sandwich fixings. And we got in the car and we drove all the way to New York, stopping at every hostel, spooky no-name motel, and free thing to go see on our way there. So we saw every weird mime museum in Alabama, which is a thing. And we walked the French Quarter in New Orleans.
Hold on. Tell me more about the mimes.
All you need to know about it is that there is a weird house in Mobile, Alabama, where you can go in and learn a whole lot about mimes all at once for like $2.
I'm in. BRB, guys. Sorry, continue.
July 18th through the 25th. That's where we need to go. Okay.
I hope 100%. It's still there.
Yeah. I'm so intrigued. Sorry.
And then we went to Washington, D.C., and we saw everything in Washington, D.C. We went through North Carolina, South Carolina. We stopped at the beaches. We went through New Jersey. We drove through Delaware, which took like 20 whole minutes. And and we saw the Statue of Liberty, and we did all of the things that we could see. We went and saw this super cheap off-Broadway version of Avenue Q that was a lot of fun.
I love Avenue Q.
It's so much fun.
Oh God, it's so good.
And then it was time to go to the museum. So the day before, we arrive in New York, and we couldn't afford to stay anywhere in New York, so we were staying in New Jersey. And we got to this hotel.
Because it's cheap and dirty there.
It was a Howard Johnson underneath the New Jersey Turnpike.
Wow.
And it had true crime written all over it. And my boyfriend, who's now my husband, who was now my husband, that was where he had been so on board for like driving across the country, spending what little savings we had to go see the circus that I paid to go see before we had money to go. And he saw that hotel and was like, absolutely not. And so he called up his dad, and his dad used a bunch of travel points, because his dad travels a lot, to get us a really nice hotel in Brooklyn. And we got there, and it was like, didn't even have a mini fridge, and we were just like, oh wow, it's like heaven. Because we'd spent 3 weeks staying in hostels in the back of our car. And
True.
And the next day we got to the circus, and we spent all of the money we had left at the circus. We got overpriced cotton candy, and we bought the big books so we could get it autographed by all the performers. And we took pictures with clowns, and we got big novelty drinks with silly straws. And then we had to figure out how to get home. And I got in the car and I was like crying hysterically because it was the last time I'd get to see it. And we like drove home on fumes, spending like coins from the back of the car on a hope and a prayer that we would make it the 1,800 miles back to Texas. And we arrived home having run out of sandwich fixings and diet soda and peanuts like the day before. And
Oh God.
Oh my God.
We got home and our cat had torn up the curtains because she was like, "Where did you guys go?" And that's the story of how I went to see the circus on no money.
Oh my God.
Several years ago.
That's amazing. So
I
hold on.
love that, though.
So yes, that's incredible. How was the final show? Like, did they pull out all the stops? Like, was it amazing?
It was exactly like you would expect. It was like this really weird version of it from when I was a kid. And so it was like a space theme, and everybody was on ice skates. And so they'd like skate on stilts on the ice, and the clowns were like up in the air doing things in the acrobat ring. And then they would like pause the stunts for the show to like continue this story of like the Ringling brothers going to outer space. It was really something.
That's awesome.
That is so cool.
It's really cool.
Dang.
But
Well, thank you.
It's all right. So I need to know something, Kennedy. Are you ready? Do you
I'm
have perhaps a neckerchief, a hanky, some sort of tissues, perhaps?
Oh my God, Daniel.
I don't. I have a pair of toddler underwear. That's it.
Toddler underwear is
don't use
sufficient.
the,
Yeah, let's not do that, actually.
Yeah, let's.
Okay.
All right. So we're because Kenny, we're about to peel back the layers of the proverbial potato, and we're gonna ask hard-hitting, deeply emotional, deeply personal questions with Dinosaurus.
Okay.
So, since you're not in our little Twitter community, I feel like you're the perfect person to ask this. Are you team cilantro or no?
I'm
sure.
adamantly anti-cilantro.
Yes!
Do we have to drink?
Mm-hmm.
Mine's in the mini fridge. Let me go get it.
She checked every box, and then
Haha,
the
Daniel,
cilantro.
she's my team, bitch.
No,
You said that-
no, you cannot collect them all.
You said she could do no wrong. So
Yeah, listen, as a
Eat your
guest, she's a
words.
10. As a guest, she's a 10, but she doesn't like cilantro.
Oh, damn it, Daniel. Okay, what is the weirdest thing? Damn it, dog. What is the weirdest thing you've ever stepped on with bare feet?
Oh, a man wore jellyfish.
Who are you? Oh my God, woman! Did it sting you?
No, it didn't sting me. They're like inflated on top, and when they wash up on Texas beaches, they're like a big blue and purple balloon, and then their tentacles are usually all like buried in the sand, and they have super long tentacles, so that's really good. And yeah, I stepped right on top of it, and it kind of popped. It's the weirdest thing I've ever stepped on.
Oh my God!
I am so shook right now. This is unbelievable. What is going on?
this sounds like it should be a Dinosaurus story.
Are you guys starting to regret bringing me on? I'm sorry.
Oh no, this is
No,
fantastic.
this is the greatest. We usually know, like, or at least have the opportunity to get to know a lot of our guests beforehand because we are always on Twitter and always like communicate with people that we invite on the show and things like that. So we have a lot of time to get to know them. And you're the first person that we haven't had like a lot of time to get to know. So it's like, oh my God.
You're blowing my freaking mind right now, buddy. Yeah.
If you were a kind of soup, what kind of soup would you be?
Tomato basil soup from La Madeleine.
Oh,
That's very
specific.
Yes, that is.
Okay.
What makes
It's like the only soup I like.
All right.
Soup. Now, do you
You're not a soup
do you go grill? But do you go grilled cheese with that La Madeleine tomato soup?
They have this sandwich that's like it's a grilled ham and cheese, but then they put cheese on top of the bread, and then when they cook it on either side, the cheese gets all crispy and melty. And I'm not going to try to pronounce it because I can't pronounce anything in any other languages, but it's like a croque monsieur, something like
Croque
that.
monsieur, yeah.
Of course, Sean knows it.
Yeah.
So Sean's our
foodie. Into the soup.
Sean's our foodie / awesome at home, chef here. So Sean, how do you feel about that sandwich?
It's an excellent sandwich. It's literally covered with cheese and then like broiled on top to make it all bubbly. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's the perfect sandwich for tomato soup.
God,
is that at a restaurant? Is that the restaurant's name that you said?
Yeah, it's like a La Madeleine cafe.
We actually have those in Georgia.
Where you live.
Yeah, I have those in Georgia.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
Yeah. Well, I know what I'm eating for lunch tomorrow, gang.
Do you fold your socks?
I fold my socks, but I don't fold my husband's socks.
That's just cruel. What the hell?
Oh, my wife's the same way.
Toss his in?
No, I'm responsible for my own.
If he wants them folded, he can fold them himself. Because once he told me, because he has like 3 different dozens of white ankle socks, and he can tell the difference between all the different kinds, but I can't tell the difference. And he got on me once about how I was folding like one sock with another sock, but they were actually different socks. And I was like,
oh, drive me nuts.
You know what? Fine, you can fold your own socks.
That's fair. No, that's fair.
That's
that also would drive me nuts because like I definitely match every single sock. My husband only buys black socks, but he buys like some are different brands or something like that. Anyway, do you do like sock testicles, like where it's like you cup them over and then like they dangle? Or do you like actually fold them into each other?
Oh no, I just fold the tops so then they dangle.
So she's got the sock testicles.
A little dangle.
Freaking testicles, man.
Yeah, the sock testicles are elite. No, that's the right move.
What is the most ridiculous thing that someone has tricked you into doing or believing?
Well, I'm actually an incredibly gullible person. So,
this show is probably the answer.
It's me. I did it.
The one I can think of because it like still keeps me up at night sometimes is when I was in 8th grade math class. Somebody had actually written the word gullible on the ceiling, but like there's that joke
that
where
old
gullible's
chestnut
on the ceiling and everybody looks.
Yep.
Yeah, and somebody had actually written it, and so when they were like gullible's written on the ceiling, I was like, I'm not gonna look because you guys are just trying to trick me because I'm easy to trick, and then it actually was written on the ceiling, and I think about that a lot.
That would haunt
That's
me,
clever.
quite frankly.
Yeah, that's haunting right there. That's
so, that time when I was 13, it comes up a bit.
Yeah,
that's why I use a pen name.
So this question needs a little bit of like groundwork to be laid here. I need you to come in with that.
Wait, Dina. We have to ask the pet peeves first.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll back up. Okay.
Yeah.
What is your biggest pet peeve, literary and personal?
Personal is when people are scrolling through social media and they see something they don't like and they feel like they need to say something about it. Like, just keep scrolling.
Yes.
And literary's bully romance. I don't do bully romance. I was bullied as a kid. I don't think there's anything romantic about it.
I love that. That's
I like
a really
that.
good
No.
one. Yeah.
I've like internally had conflicts about those type of romances because I'm just like, I don't see it going this way, but I mean, okay, you do you.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a healthy foundation. No, that's a good one. Those are good ones.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah. I think the closest I ever came was like The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, just because like the main character was so I'm going to stab you and peel off your skin and turn it into boots that it was okay.
That's
now I
okay
want to read this. Yeah.
for her.
Yeah. No, Dina, you have a massive knife and sword collection.
Yeah. So?
I feel like this judgment's a little hypocritical here, Dina.
I mean, but
Would
I'm
you
not gonna wear
stab
anybody's skin.
Oh, but you will stab them and peel the skin, but you draw the line at wearing the skin.
Peeling the skin is too much work. I'll just stab, but like peeling the
Not if
skin
you
is
get good at it.
She's from Texas. It's okay.
Kennedy,
this is
Kennedy
where
again.
Florida and Texas are different.
Kennedy, would you say?
Yeah, it's like a snake. Like once you cut the snake's head off, you just the whole thing.
That's.
Have you
This is actually
skinned a
I'm from
snake?
Wyoming, so.
Have you skinned a snake?
Oh, of course I've skinned snakes.
Florida girl just had a run for her money.
I'm so weirdly terrified and massively impressed.
I do a lot of things that just like
I've lived a lot of places and all of them are the kind of place where your friends would skin snakes for fun.
Damn, I really thought that Florida was like fucked up, but
oh no, like backcountry Oklahoma. I lived there for a while. That's like people fish for catfish with their hands as bait.
Yeah,
like
noodling.
It's a whole thing.
Noodling.
yeah,
Love
yeah.
noodling. Can we put that on a t-shirt? I've lived in a lot of places. The kind of places where your friends
That's too long of a t-shirt.
skins.
Skin snakes for fun.
I'm just gonna put
That
I love
needs-
noodling
okay.
on a shirt.
That's a good one.
Kennedy,
Wyoming, I grew up in Wyoming as a teenager, and Wyoming has one university and 2 malls in the whole state. Like we made
there's
our
a
own
lot
fun.
of snake skinning happening in the
A
background.
lot of snake. You need to add that into,
Yeah, and
into
a lot
a
of-
future book. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of underage drinking.
What? Kids, we
Yeah.
don't condone.
Oh yeah,
underage
Wyoming has a
drinking.
huge drunk driving problem.
Fuck, I believe it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Florida's
yeah.
pretty bad about it too. But,
Florida's just
anyway.
about being reckless, but yeah, no, I'm with you, man.
Yeah, we don't.
All right.
But we don't skin snakes for fun. Anyway, okay.
Skin gators.
I gotta lay the groundwork
Just
here
because y'all have malls.
It's true.
Got
We
a
have
mall.
very nice malls. We have
There's a
malls with
direct
palm trees and
correlation
frickin'
between the amount of
swimming
snake
pools.
skinning and the number of malls.
That's the ratio.
You know, honestly, based on where I've lived, I would say that's true. like your friend skinning snake for fun becomes way more likely. Like if you're 40 minutes away from a mall than if you're 10 minutes away from a mall. It's all
You
about
hear that, city officials? Let us build that mall in Hernando County. Anyway, so I gotta lay the ground. Daniel, shut the fuck
Save
up. I
the
have to lay
kids.
the groundwork. Save the kids. Okay. So, I need you to come in hot with this take. There can be no other takes besides yours. You have to tell us why you were right. You have to back it up. You rule the roost. Okay? So,
Okay.
what is the superior form of potato?
Baked.
Why?
Because when you bake them right, especially if you like dig underneath the coals of a fire and you wrap them in foil and you let them sit in there all afternoon, the skin gets all brown and crispy on the outside. And then when you cut into it, it's all soft and fluffy, but like the skin's like a chip. And then you just fill it with all of your fixins, and everybody does it a little differently.
Tell me your
I
fixins.
stand by baked.
Yeah, what are the
Tell me your
fixins?
fixins.
I do sour cream, bacon bits, but if there's like barbecue pulled pork. If you haven't done it, that's a Texas thing, and you should try it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, fucking
with
right, I'm in.
Butter and salt and little chives or white onions.
Now,
A purist.
yeah.
No.
We only skin
I mean,
snakes
unless it
here.
were like an apocalypse.
Well, then
Unless
yeah.
it were like an
Apocalypse, I'm gonna
apocalypse.
eat a whole lot of stuff that I wouldn't normally eat. Okay,
Like
Yeah.
people, Dina? Like people,
I will
is that what you're
survive
trying
it.
to
No,
say?
no, because I don't want to get the shakes.
You know, that happened on
The
ships a
people
lot.
shakes.
The people
Eating
shakes.
No, okay, so I have a whole apocalypse thing, and I've been I've been researching and consuming pop culture.
We were talking about potatoes.
we
spiraled. Yeah, so no, what I was saying was I have a whole apocalypse thing where I'm not going to eat any people. I don't care if I'm starving. I'm not going to be like, what is that? What is the family that eat
Donner
each other?
Party.
I'm not going to be
Donner
like the
Party.
Donner Party, because here's the thing: if you eat the wrong, whatever, like hormone quote unquote pocket, that's not scientifically correct, but like there's certain parts of the brain that if you eat them, it will give you the shakes, and like you can identify cannibals based on that shake if they've eaten like a certain part of the brain. What?
Do you eat brains?
Yeah, but like if it's the apocalypse, who's gonna look at you and be like, she's eating people? Like the
I don't want the shakes though. Like the feds
They're gonna think you're a zombie. That's probably where that came from. Is people who eat human brains become zombies because they have the weird human brain shakes.
Supposedly we taste like long, like they call us long pig, and we taste like bacon. So
I want to.
Then we'd be good on a baked potato.
Yeah, we could basically have
the superior form of potato is human meat
made better by human meat. That's what I'm saying.
Baked potato.
Oh god.
Oh god.
Pulled long pork, I think they call it.
Sorry.
Long pork. Oh my god. Do you ever just think you want to go back to the cult?
Yeah, I'm ready to join a cult
every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Fuck, Dina.
I feel like I'm a part of a cult hanging out here.
That's basically what what we are.
You are.
That's what we are. All right. So we're gonna transition over. All right, we're gonna put on our author hats. We're gonna chat about your book, The Sneaky Lass. And it's out now. And guys, I'm telling you, spoiler alert, it's so freaking good. Oh my god.
Oh.
Dina, first reaction. Just give us your first.
I'm so frustrated because it's so good and I just want the second one so bad.
Listen, we went over this. You were supposed to be at least semi-tethered for this segment. Like
semi-tethered.
Okay.
Yeah, that was loud noises, Dina. That was
sorry,
loud
I'm okay.
noises. Yeah.
I'm fine.
So I want to chat with you about this one because it falls into that historical era of the golden age of piracy, but it also has a lot of, you've created your own world, your own cities, your own even religions, things like that. So what was it like trying to create your own genre with this, and how much did you draw from actual history in creating this book?
I drew all of the things about ships, all of the things about sailing, all of the things about piracy, the names, the Navy. In later books, we're going to actually be on a Navy ship. So I learned all of the ranking systems. Yeah, well, there's going to be a prequel, and they were all in the Navy at one point. So we're going to be talking about a lot of that is all based on history. All of the technology that is used, or lack of technology that is used, is based on the early 18th century, late 17th century. Golden Age of piracy encompasses about 1650 to about 1717 or so. And so all of that is what makes it a historical. But I created my own world because I really, really didn't want to be tied to the Caribbean. I didn't want to waste a whole bunch of my readers' time explaining the French and the English and the Americas and all of this different political turmoil that was happening at the time. I would much rather focus on my characters and piracy, which is the exciting bit. And by creating my own world and creating my own religion and creating my own politics of the day, I could really have that stuff fall more into the background and focus on my characters. And it also happened a little bit on accident because I set out to write a fantasy romance with pirates and ended up writing a historical romance with pirates because I don't like magic and I don't like mermaids. So here we are.
The audacity. I love mermaids.
The audacity. Yeah, we were really hoping the mermaid
It's not
would
that
show
I
up at
don't
some
love
point.
reading about them. It's just that for me, it was like, do I want to create a magic system? Do I want to create a magical world? And it was like, I
fair,
really
yeah.
wanted to create something. Yeah, I wanted to create something emotional. And I didn't want anything to take away from Jane's story and Jane's growth, which was really why I wrote the books in the first place.
I totally get that. So we've heard a lot about your life experiences in the last hour or so. So have you ever actually sailed at all? Because this vision, this terminology was so like, it felt so real, and reading it, I absolutely loved it because I felt like I was there, and it all felt so authentic, so real. And I was just like, I was so engrossed, and I was like, she has to have some sort of experience sailing or on the ocean or something. Like, ma'am, are you a pirate?
The ocean. I'm not a pirate. But the ocean is really important to me and always has been. I live on the coast. I was born on the coast, and then I moved to all of these different places that I've told you about.
Mm-hmm.
And then after my brother died when I was 20, we moved back to Texas, and we moved closer to the coast again. And that's really where I found peace again after his loss, is like on a boat, fishing, and the wind and the waves. And there's something very calming about it to me. And I gave that to Jane in my books.
Yeah.
And then as far as the tall ships and how much I love them, that's just something that I've always been absolutely mesmerized by. All the people who have tall ships around me, like in docks and at port and anchored, I've gone to them. I take pictures. I take notes. The tall ship Alyssa, which is actually about 100 years after the portion of my book, but it's anchored in Galveston, and the people there know me. Like, I've been there a lot. And I went to there was a big tall ship show at the Great Lakes, and I have gone to that. And I've also just talked to people who have sailed on them a lot and have a great passion for them. But I've never actually sailed on the ocean on a tall ship. That's something that I would really like to do.
That's a bucket list right there, and that's incredible. And you know, speaking of the emotion of the book, I think that there's a lot of important themes that you kind of go over in terms of loss, in terms of the characters' past, their traumas, their PTSD, and how, you know, especially with Jane, without giving away too many spoilers, you know, how she views herself versus how other people in the world have viewed her. And I guess,
Daniel,
talk to me. Yeah.
I'm so fucking tired of us not sharing our fucking questions before the show because I literally have it on my paper.
We do it live, baby. But
We're very organized here.
Very professional, very, very professional podcast. But I mean, so talk to me through kind of the emotional aspects and themes that these characters experience as they kind of grow and go through this story.
Well, I started writing this book when my son was born. And I've told people this before, is that my journey to motherhood was not a simple or easy one. My journey to motherhood was very fraught. And we had to do IVF, and we suffered through several losses. And I was really feeling that when my son was born, I was still really reeling from those losses. My son was from a set of twins, and we lost one of them. And when he was little, he never slept. And it didn't matter what we tried. He had terrible food allergies. And so like anything, I had to be very careful about what I ate. And he was still just like a miserable baby. And he didn't sleep longer than 90 minutes at a time for like the first year of his life. And so I was up all night with him, and I would sing him all these sea shanties because they're very repetitive. They tend to be kind of like mellow tone. And while I was rocking him singing these sea shanties, I started thinking about who might have sung those songs. And that's how Bennett Holt and Hugh Digby and Mickey Compton started to exist. And then Jane came into the picture because I needed someone who didn't know anything about ships, because I didn't know anything about ships at the time. And so Jane gets onto the ship and she's going, is that the, like they say, go to the quarterdeck, and she's going, is that the front or the back? Is that the raised bit? And so Jane learning about ships was like a very natural part of me learning about ships. And so as the book progresses, you learn more and more terms for like what things are and where things go. And she starts using more of the vernacular of ships. And that's because that's how I was learning it. And Jane's grief and Jane's growth was really a part of me sorting out my own grief and my own growth and creating it into a character of the time.
So, and that was very, very clear, and it came through, and I think that's why I latched on so hard to Jane and like her character and everything, because I was just like, this feels so real. And I feel like as a writer and as a reader, you can always tell when a character has put at least some part of themselves into it, whether it's the growth, whether it's the personal trauma, like everything that you're putting into it, you can always feel that, in my opinion. I think that's what makes a strong writer. And I think Daniel would agree. We've had this conversation several times. It's like putting yourself into that is what makes you a strong writer. That's how you know that you found your voice. And you're very lucky to have done it on your first book. But kind of playing off of what Daniel was saying, the way that Jane and like sort of disassociates herself from all of the names that she's taken without giving away spoilers. The different parts and roles in life that she's had to play just for self-preservation, and her complete disassociation. Like, how did that feel to you as a writer? Because it was obvious that you put so much of yourself into this. Like, was it therapeutic? It was therapeutic to read personally, like seeing the different phases of her life play out and disassociate with them. So how was that for you to write it?
I feel like in book one, you're just beginning to see it. And I'm really excited to put out book two. I feel like because in book two, book one is Jane starting out at the beginning as Jane. And then she becomes Dixon. Right. And by the end of it, she feels like Jane again. And yet, like, there's still this secret happening. And book two, really, we get to see Jane become the Jane she wants to be. And so I'm really excited for people to see that. And as for me, like therapeutically while writing it, I paid very close attention to Jane's character. And that's not just because I felt very connected to Jane's character, but because I really wanted to express something very specific. And it was that there's a lot of strong female characters in literature right now that, and I am all for that. I love it. We need more of it always. But I wanted Jane to be strong as a mother is strong. I wanted Jane to be strong as someone who has experienced grief is strong. And we often see these strong female characters. We pick them up before the trauma and then journey through it with them. And Jane's story picks her up after the trauma, and her story is growing from it.
And I think that that's something really important to show the different ways of strength. And one of the things that I think is incredibly interesting in terms of the themes, like, you know, going back to when she was, you know, her past, that there was names that she didn't get to pick, the choices that she didn't get to have. And then when you finally see that growth, when she gets on the ship, when she gets out there and she's talking about, you know, she gets to choose this. She got to choose the name Dixon. She got to do all of that. You know, what did the freedom of choice, the freedom of identity, and the freedom of just boundaries mean to you as you wrote this story?
I think that, so as I mentioned, I had to go through IVF and several losses to have children. And book one was really written when I was in the thick of dealing with the trauma that causes. And it's definitely a form of trauma. And you feel very out of control of the process. Even like your body is controlled by medications, and everything happens because you take the shots at the right time, you take the pills at the right time, and if you don't, everything's going to fall apart. And I found that to be incredibly troubling. And even after my son's birth, we're almost a year out from that, and I was still thinking about myself as somebody who didn't have any agency, somebody who didn't have any choice. And even his birth was it was very fraught, and we had to have an emergency C-section. And I just felt like all of this stuff had happened to me because I was a woman, and a lot of what my husband had dealt with, which is his own own type of trauma. He couldn't understand what I had gone through. And I wanted to write a woman with a woman's trauma, a woman with a woman's story, and finding some freedom in being set free from that in a way. And by becoming Dixon and joining this pirate ship and being given so much agency, even though she was one of the lowest ranks on the ship, was very healing for me. And really, book one was that healing book. And after that, every single book, we're going to see more and more of Jane as she becomes who she is outside of that.
Really quick, you guys, let's take a quick break.
And Kennedy, thank you so much for sharing that. I know that's deeply personal information, and that takes a lot of courage to be so forthright. And I want you to know that we really appreciate your honesty and your willingness to tell that story to us, you know? I have always thought that it's something that people don't talk about, and we really should. Yeah. And these books, the longer the series goes on, those themes continue through all of the books. And I definitely want I want people who have experienced that in the past to be able to read my books and think, this person's talking about it the way I need it to be talked about. Because there are certainly parts, especially in book 5, not to give anything away, where I thought, yeah, this would be easier if I wrote it a different way, but I'm not going to, because I'm writing it for me, and I'm writing it for people who have experienced what I've experienced. And I think that that's something that a lot more women have experienced than we think. Yeah.
And certainly more than we talk about. And so I'm going to keep talking about it.
It's such an incredible answer. I can't even imagine what it's like to go through that. And I think that's just incredibly powerful and adds a whole new layer of just meaning to your story, you know?
Yeah, thank you.
I had no idea what to expect going into it. And, you know, I always joke around with the group, and Dina gives me a ton of grief for it, that I'm like the dumb jock meathead of the group. You know, I like my dragons and explosions and, I don't know, shooting lightning and crap at people. So I'm not necessarily your target demo, but like, this is like the romance book for people who think that they're not into romance stories, you know?
I'm finding that when people read it, they're saying, oh, I've never read a historical book before, but I really like yours. Or I've never read a romance before and I really like yours. And I'm here for it. I'm really excited to be pulling people who aren't necessarily into the genres into it.
Yeah.
I've never read a historical romance either.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really glad you liked mine.
It was so freaking good. And I just want book 2 now. So, you did this really eloquently, where you pulled the reader in and out from feeling what Dixon, aka Jane, feels, to then remembering, like, no, wait, I am Jane, and like still kind of like that inner turmoil where she's conflicted within herself as to finding that new identity, which you mentioned we're gonna do throughout the series, but. It was a little bit jarring, but in a good way, because you felt the trauma that she was feeling and everything like that. So how was it intentionally laying that out, like where you just suddenly hit the reader with, no, I'm not Dixon, I'm Jane, when she's in the middle of feeling something real, you know?
Oh, that's a tough question.
Yay!
I have this wonderful editor And I sent her my book, having never sent my book to an editor before. And when she responded to me, she said, okay, so I've done the first chapter. Here's what I've done. I find your writing style really interesting because you've written a romance novel the way most people write a mystery. And I had never read a mystery novel before, so I had no idea. And she went, yeah, it has this noir style to it. And especially in how I did my dialogue tags, where you can tell what the person's about to say before they say it. And so my narrator is like half omniscient, as they say. Like she almost knows what's always going on, except for when it's important to the story that she not know what's going on. And I think that's why she even does that with herself. And so there's these times where she's so aware of herself and what she is feeling and what she is thinking, and then she'll suddenly be like, or is that me? Is that how I'm feeling? Is that how Dixon's feeling? And is Dixon who I am? And I think that dichotomy of Jane versus Dixon is something that we are going to start seeing fall away as she becomes who she's going to become. But Dixon is the armor that she puts on. And so when you see those moments where it's like, but I'm actually Jane, it's almost like those moments where she's banging on the inside of this mask that she's wearing. And she's just like, and she talks about that in the book. There's one or two sentences where she says, like, maybe that's just Jane rearing her many ugly heads saying, I am still in here and you keep telling me I'm not. And so I think does that answer your question?
No, it does. It does. That was good. I mean, mainly Daniel asked like really pointed questions. I just asked like for feelings and stuff like that because that's how I am as a reader. So no, that was perfect.
That's why you're a good
I got
team.
chills because it was like like I felt like she was banging like from like just like what you said, where it was like, let me out, I'm still here and you're like oppressing me and I just want to be me and I want to be free, but I can't be me. And it's like, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that a part of that, so another part of my history that sort of plays into the Dixon-Jane dichotomy is I struggled with anorexia nervosa for many years in my early 20s. And that was after my brother died. He passed away when I was 20 years old. He was 22 and we were very close. And after he died, I just felt like I needed to have some control over something. And I was in and out of treatment for years before I overcame that. And that same feeling of I'm still in here was so remarkably similar within Jane, is that, you know, you're this person that you don't want to be, and you're doing things that you don't necessarily want to do, and you're behaving in a way you don't necessarily want to behave. And you can't stop, because if you stop, then what are you?
Yeah.
And so it's almost, I guess all mental illness is like that, is, you know, whether you have depression or bipolar disorder or schizophrenia or borderline personality, whatever it is, eating disorders are the same way. As you can see yourself, you can go, this isn't who I am. This isn't how I want to make my loved ones feel. This isn't how I want to put myself out there. And yet something's stopping you. And I think that's the Jane Dixon dichotomy again, is something inside Jane is saying, why can't anybody see what I'm doing? And why isn't anybody trying to reach in? And of course, Bennett is trying to reach in.
That's such an incredible answer. And again, I love the courage, the openness, the honesty that you show us when you're giving us these answers, because these are
it's important to talk about.
Yeah, it's important to talk about. They're tough to hear, but I think that I think there's a lot of people that will connect with it, you know?
Yeah.
So speaking of that connection, and speaking of Jane, you've got a little passage for us. Why don't you share with us just a little something from this book, and give the readers a little taste of what we've been talking about?
Okay. I bookmarked my very favorite passage in the whole book. It's towards the end of the book. And I mean, we all know this is a romance, So we all know that Bennett is falling for Jane, and Jane is falling back for Bennett because if she weren't, well, this wouldn't be a romance. But Bennett only knows Jane as Dixon, the sailor on his ship. And towards the end, we say, "One day soon, when I am dead, perhaps I will remember the planes of his face. Maybe I will remember the way he is looking at me now, like he wishes nothing more than to kiss me again. Lust clouds his eyes alongside something I have only ever seen from him. Care. Maybe it is even love. I will tell myself it is love because I might not wake up tomorrow, and it is such a nice thought to die being loved by someone, even if Bennett only loves a carefully crafted lie. I step back towards the door and speak as close to the truth as I dare, so that if I die in the night, he will know it. I really care about you, Bennett. Love is a game I do not play, but it is something like love."
Bro, can I tell you guys something? I read that passage this morning like probably 6 times because I was like, oh my God, it's so good. Oh my God, it's so good.
Dina, you said you weren't going to fangirl. You said no fangirling in this episode. I need you to get together.
I'm totally
get
calm.
it together.
It's fine.
Van Damme. All right. Van Damme. All right, perfect.
Got it.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to ask you 2 more questions about the book. Then we're going to each get a little off-the-wall question in there. And then it's going to be the portion of the show where I apologize to you for making you read some bad romance and hope that you'll still love me afterwards, okay?
Absolutely.
Hey, Daniel,
Dina.
can I go first?
Yeah, Dina, would you like to go first?
Yeah, I would love to go first. Hey, Kenny, actually, Daniel, can you go first?
It means so much to me that you'd ask me to go first, Dina. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Kennedy, one of the things that I think was really interesting when you're talking about, like, Jane's, trying to get that new identity and she still has old Jane inside of her. One of the things I think is really interesting is how all these characters need costumes to really come out and to be someone different and feel different. For Jane, it was dressing up as Dixon to become the sailor. For Bennett, it's dressing, getting from normal sailor to being the fearsome pirate captain. And even the crew, they dress up to look that part. And so there's a whole level of being a player on a stage. And what does that mean in your story to you?
I think that being a player on a stage is it's a huge part of my story. It's also a huge part of piracy. And historically, pirates didn't become pirates because they wanted to be pirates. They became pirates because they had to be. And these men were just merchant sailors. They were Navy mutineers. They were deserters. And they found themselves in these situations. And honestly, being on a pirate ship was often cramped and filthy and miserable. And it also paid better than most other jobs on ships at the time. You were treated fairly. You were compensated fairly if you were hurt. And so there's that certain point of like, these guys are just guys. Most of them are young. They're under the age of 27. And they come from a background of ships. And no one wants to be on a ship unless they absolutely have to be. And no one joins a pirate ship unless they were put in a scenario where being on a pirate ship was the best choice. And pirates often were praised by many port towns at the time because these were the guys who were fighting back against the cruel merchant captains and were making it so that somebody was sailing fairly. And they were seen as kind of the vigilante for the regular sailor. And I wanted to be able to express that these guys were just guys on the ship. But man, when they're taking that merchant ship, when they find out this captain's cruel to his crew, they tear him apart. Mm-hmm. And I think that Jane sees that as that sort of like righteous indignation that we are doing this cruelty because they were cruel first. And she can really connect with that because so many people have been cruel to her.
I mean, okay, wait, I have a thought to that, but then I also have several other things. So, I mean, that's kind of in contrast with like why she connected so well with the crew and everything, because she even tells the captain, she's like, I've killed a lot of people, but there's only 2 people that I don't regret killing because they were cruel first, and that's why Jane fits in so well with the crew that she's with, because it's justice. It's fair is fair.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, okay, sorry. It's not an LGBTQ romance or anything like that, but it deals with a lot of, because you've got Jane becoming Dixon and everything like that, it deals with a lot of fluid sexuality, but it's also not like, it's not, I don't know how to phrase it. It's
still a female male romance.
Right, but you're also dealing with this fluid sexuality between them, because you've got the captain who thinks that he's in love with a man, but also doesn't care if she's a man or a woman or anybody. And then you've got, it's kind of conflicting for Dixon because it's Jane, and Jane is a girl who is straight, but like is acting as a man. And it's just like that sort of just all, this is life. Welcome to it. So talk on that a little bit.
Well, I am pansexual, and Bennett is a pansexual protagonist.
That's what I said.
Piracy was one of the safe havens for gay men at the time. And there was even matelotage is a French word, and it was considered is like a contract that 2 sailors could join in together. And often it wasn't romantic, and more often than not, it was romantic. And so there was even like a form of gay marriage within pirate crews. And that was so that like if one of them died, you got their sea chest, you got their share, and even you would be treated as like, a lot of ships at the time had invisible sailors, and those invisible sailors were so that if one person died, you would get 2 shares sent to the widow at home. And pirate ships, if you were entered into a matelotage contract, you would have those 2 shares would go to the remaining sailor within that contract. And so I really wanted to play on Bennett Holt having grown up on ships. And you'll read more of his history in the prequel that I've written, but Bennett Holt has always been in a position on ships where he was really above reproach to a certain extent. And now on a pirate ship, above reproach, and also on a ship with a culture where we can see with our side characters, Mickey and Hugh, a ship with a culture where, this was something that was well accepted. And I'm certain that Mickey and Hugh had to work really hard to make it so that that culture was there. And so I wanted to express that not only was it accepted at the time, was especially accepted on pirate ships at the time, but also that this would be seen as something that was created, that we could create a culture where even in a time where that wasn't acceptable, could be something that was okay, and that a lot of people found freedom in that. And Jane found freedom in that.
So last thing, just so that we can wrap it up on a little bit of a funny note, because this is my favorite line in the whole book. So it's gotta be the best rewrite and the best take on It's Not You, It's Me. And you said, I promise the problem lies with me alone. And because this is a period piece, the way that it was written and the way that it was incorporated into the text was so good, because I was literally reading it like modern day, like it's not me, or it's not you, it's me. And I was just like, this is so good. And I cracked up. I just wanted to tell you that. I was like, this is brilliant for the day and age. The problem lies with me alone. And I was like, yes. Okay, that's all.
Yes, and all those portions with Bennett where he says, am I being held at bay by the ghosts of past lovers? And then he looks up and Dixon's like, I mean, maybe. Like,
Could be. Probably. Yes.
could be.
Could be, bro. Stop drinking whiskey,
Being
bro.
held at bay by the ghosts of a lot of things.
We drink rum, not whiskey. Thank you.
Before we move on, Dina and Kennedy, I believe there was some talk about coming prepared with crowns tonight. Kennedy, I know you bought a crown for today.
Do I need to go get mine? I didn't
Do
know
you
if
have
she
a
even
crown?
saw
I
that.
could go get mine.
I have a crown, yeah.
I did. I saw
I
it.
thought in the spirit
crown.
of off the wall questions, we could wear off the wall hats. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, good.
I'll go get my.
Okay,
I'll go
I
get
just
my
have a little
crown.
one, but I'll go get it.
I'll be right back.
3 weeks later.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. So now we're gonna come to the portion of the show where we ask off the wall
Not
questions.
Not fancy enough, Daniel.
We are going to get to the part of the show where we ask off the wall questions. This is a part where Dina is always prepared and has her questions ready in a classy, timely manner. Dina?
So since Daniel decided to cause violence and chaos early on in the episode, without giving spoilers, if Harry was replaced with Jar Jar Binks,
You son of a bitch.
do you think that it would have the same emotional reaction?
No, I don't
Don't
think
think
it
so.
More
would.
emotional.
No, it wouldn't.
Emotional.
I think enough people have a strong negative feeling about Jar Jar Binks that they wouldn't be able to emotionally connect with Harry Lewis. No.
That was actually Kennedy's first draft. Jar Jar was Harry, but then Disney sent a cease and desist and, put
Disney
the
said,
kibosh on that.
screw this self-pubber. No.
No, absolutely not.
So I'm going to peel back the layer of the potato even further and go in the direction that we went off air before the show started. Jane is now been replaced. Actually, all of them. All your characters have been replaced by Muppets.
Okay, but all of them except Hugh Digby, because I think that the surly quartermaster should remain precisely as he is and be surrounded by Muppets.
Okay,
No,
Dwayne
he's
the Rock
replaced-
Johnson.
No, he's replaced with Grouch from who's the trash bin guy from Sesame Street?
Oscar the Grouch?
Oscar the Grouch.
Hold on a second. Dina, were
I
you
was-
not
I
allowed
was
to watch
thinking
Sesame
that-
Street?
Hey,
No, I did. I just didn't remember if it was Grouch or I didn't know if he had an actual name.
okay, so everybody's a Muppet.
Yep. How does your story change? What?
Listen, they did Muppet Treasure Island. I imagine it wouldn't be
They did.
too different from that.
It's one of my favorite movies, just to be clear. I own 5 movies on DVD, and Muppet Treasure Island is one of them.
You only own 5 movies on DVD?
Yeah, because
I only own 5 movies on
because
DVD.
We're in
Everyone
the digital
else-
age.
Yeah. Sean, how good is your Elmo voice?
No.
Terrible.
Jesus Christ.
Sean, how good is it?
I guess it's okay.
Yeah. All right, Sean.
Yeah.
I need you to
Oh God.
read the first. Let's see. Just to Tham, where it's just like a
Are
loud
you
Tham.
texting me or
I'm
DMing me or
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
I'm
God.
texting. I'm
Daniel,
texting this too. Yeah, this
Why do you
is happening,
cause so
guys.
much chaos?
I listen. You guys brought it up, so just read
Listen,
to.
I thought that you cashed in on all of your ridiculous requests early in the episode so that we wouldn't have to deal with this 2
Yeah,
hours
but then you
in.
let him wear the freaking wig.
Yeah, well, this is where we
I
are.
said hat.
All right. So you need to end it at I did bite the most precious thing a man owns. After all.
Oh God. Okay. I'm gonna try.
All right.
I believe in you.
You think Elmo won't kill you for that, whore? My Elmo's assailant is right before me, but his words are hardly a murmur above the ringing in Elmo's brain. Damn! Elmo's head hits the wooden floor again. He thinks Elmo deserves this. Elmo did bite the most precious thing the man owns, after all. Did I do it?
Oh my God, that was
Did
incredible.
I do the
You
thing?
did it. That was very good. I watch Sesame Street every day, and that was spot on. Very good.
Please don't sue us, Jim Henson Workshop.
We're sorry.
We're sorry. So sorry.
We're sorry.
Sorry.
Play the sorry
Yeah, let's
music.
go.
Apologize in the
We're
Elmo
really
voice,
sorry
though.
we made Elmo say that. I'm really sorry.
Am I sorry?
We're sorry we sexually assaulted Elmo.
Am I so sorry?
All right.
I can't believe you actually did that for him, Sean.
Oh God, that was incredible.
That's my life, Dina.
yeah,
how I
you do
feel
a
every
lot for
time.
him.
Yeah, he does. In fucking tears right now.
All right.
Oh, sorry. All right, Van Damme. All right, gang. Every week, we celebrate some of the worst erotic literature in history, usually selected by the Literary Review, a British literary magazine, in a segment that we call Cringy Copulation.
Cringy copulation, baby. Come on.
These are real excerpts from real books intended to be taken seriously. This week's excerpt will be read, not written. I'm so sorry, Kennedy. You would never read
Kennedy
anything.
didn't write it. Kennedy didn't write it.
She wouldn't write anything this bad, guys. It will be read by Kennedy and is from She's Leaving Home by Edwina Currie. Edwina is a British writer, broadcaster, and former politician, serving as a Conservative Party Member of Parliament for the South Derbyshire from 1983 until 1997. She was a junior health minister for 2 years, resigning in 1988 during the salmonella in eggs controversy. She remains an outspoken public figure with a reputation for being highly opinionated and currently earns her living as an author and media personality.
All right, Kennedy. Check your texts.
I got it. Don't be shy. You are so beautiful. And remember, whatever we do, it's not dirty. When two people care about each other, there is no shame, only love. My. You catch on fast, don't you? Hang on. And he unzipped his jeans and dropped them to the floor. Don't be frightened, he whispered. Come on, lie down. She obeyed, and he slipped off her panties. Then he broke off, reached into the drawer of the bedside table, found the tiny silver packet as she watched, rolled its contents on. Again, she held him, and both smiled. Oh, Michael, I am on fire for you! Hush, we don't want anyone coming to investigate. I'm okay, honestly. Don't stop, she said hoarsely. I wasn't intending to. Hold on tight. Here we go.
That is... Okay. Hold on. Because why do authors think that it's okay to, like, say shit about being frightened during sex? Why do they do that? So many authors do it, and I don't understand.
Don't be scared. Dina, don't be scared.
If a man said that to me...
Well, it's your giant trouser snake.
Just flop that on.
13 inches.
13 inches.
Watch
It's a
out.
whole cubit.
Like a baby holding an apple.
Baby's arm holding an apple. I love it. So the tiny silver packet. Okay. I think we're intended to believe it's a condom. But yeah. I think it's clearly Bengay because she tells Michael she's on fire like immediately afterwards. They're
Maybe
not very
it was
clear
one of those
about
fun
it.
condoms.
They just applied it.
Sorry, Mom.
Pulled out the silver packet and applied it. Rolled its contents on.
Yeah. Oh, right? Bengay, you roll that on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You do?
Ouch.
I love it because it's just like you could tell I feel like she's never had sex before because it's just like I can't even imagine what I would do as I'm getting ready to do 30 seconds of work and and some
come on, Daniel, it's 27 seconds. Okay, stop rounding up.
Dear
I'm
God.
trying to get better.
I feel so bad for your fucking wife.
She's a saint. I love my wife. She's a saint.
Bless that woman.
Bless her. But it's like, could you just imagine, like, I'm on fire for you. Yeah, baby, I'm on fire too.
Hush, we don't want anyone investigating.
But also it's like so.
Maybe they were having sex in like a very small inn with thin walls.
It's so anticlimactic. Like nothing is happening, and he's like, "Hold on, nothing. You're not doing anything." It's a tiny. Let's emphasize tiny silver packet. Like,
what I love it is like I feel like there's like accidental misogyny here because like anytime that like she tries to express herself sexually, he's like, no, baby, shut your fucking mouth. Let me just let me.
You're right.
I need absolute silence in order to work here.
Daniel, you're almost never funny, but that was good.
He can't concentrate when she talks.
Oh, God. I'm kidding, Daniel. You're always funny.
Oh, thanks, Dina. I love you too.
God.
Thank you for being a good sport, Kennedy. That was a fun read.
No,
Yeah,
no.
that was awesome.
That was
Really
very,
quick.
very mild for Daniel.
Before we get to the pitches,
Honestly,
you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, go ahead.
honestly,
Sorry.
that makes me feel like way better about the sex scenes that I write later in the series because I always feel like I'm like, you know, you're typing them and I always take forever to write them because I'm always like, where are everybody's hands?
What do I even
where
do
was
with
his-
them? Do I?
But even like I'll reread it afterwards when I'm editing and I'm just like, oh no, Bennett has 4 arms. And you know, or like he'll suddenly say something, but like I was just talking about where his mouth was and there's no way he could be saying anything. And I'm always just like, damn it.
We have read some
makes
passages
me feel
that
way
are
better.
anatomically impossible, like the way people are oriented, and like we're trying to guess like what position they're in because it's completely ridiculous sounding.
And the amount of people
Wait,
that
what
we've
was the one that Molly read where I had to show you guys in sign language?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
I don't remember, but we can look back.
I forget what they had to do, but I remember that it was this in sign language, but they were doing something really weird, and it was like, that's not actually possible.
Yeah, we weren't sure if it was a 69 situation or if it wasn't. Like it, yeah. But so listen, Kennedy, if you're ever like feeling down about a sex scene that you've written and been like, man, this sucks, just go flip on any episode of ours, go to the cringy copulation section, and you're gonna feel so much better about your ability as a writer.
Kimono
Are you though? Because
monkey
hold on.
testicles. What?
Yeah, if you just read it out of context, sure, but then you find out that these people are like award-winning authors,
I
Yeah.
know.
Oh no.
Yeah, so many of
and then
ours.
you just feel like shit because you're like, how did these people get published?
Yeah, that's the
let
thing.
alone
Like,
win
we
awards?
don't find these
Award.
ourselves. It's like a huge award that happens every year, and these people are
Yeah.
award-winning authors, not just for this. And it's
Yeah,
like,
we've had
fuck am I
Nobel
doing?
we've had Nobel Literature Prize winners on our cringy copulation. And for the record, like, we're not finding random people in the community. Like, we're not ever going after anyone on indie. Like, these are all well-respected trad pub people that just write sex terribly.
So now that we know that you're, because we usually gauge what we know about our guests ahead of time before Daniel gives you a reading to do, and he went a little mild for you. So
Yeah.
when you come back for book 2, we'll hit you over the head with a real fire, real disgusting reading.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll get you
Need the
some
monkey testicles with the kimono.
We'll get you some. We're gonna get you some cooked liver in there, Kennedy, because we.
Oh
did,
God, no!
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Okay,
I
before
don't want
we-
to do a
You
food
just
one
get
ever
in there,
again.
Listen, we got to wrap this up. But before we go to the pitches, you guys.
Wait. Does that mean that Bennett Holt is played by the Cookie Monster for these later sex scenes?
Yes, absolutely. Oh my God, I'm not ready for book 2 anymore. Send help.
Send help.
Sorry.
Okay, Sean, go ahead now that
Sorry.
Daniel's rudely interrupted you with Cookie Monster eating somebody out.
He'd probably be really good at it.
Right?
Like
Honestly,
lots of gusto.
probably.
He's a little sloppy though.
Well,
He's a little
no,
sloppy. Let's be real.
It might be a little weird to
you
have
ever
that
seen
kind of
Sesame
enthusiasm.
Street? None of that cookie ends up in his mouth, you guys.
Yeah. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, some like it a little.
That'd be crazy.
Some like it a little sloppy. You know?
You're gonna have to change the sheets afterwards.
There's a TikTok going around right now where this girl is getting controversy because she like made like a teaser and she was like, when your husband wants to have sex or something like that. And she pulled back the covers of the bed and there was a towel there and people were like, you use a towel? And like people are freaking out about it. And there's like a whole divide right now in TikTok where it's like towel users versus just like straight on the sheet, sleep on it that night, change it, whatever. Yeah.
What kind of boring sex are non-towel users having?
Yep.
All right, let's go to the pitches, Daniel.
All right, so we have a proud tradition on this show, Kennedy, which is the 1 second pitch. We're going to give you exactly 1 second to sell your book to the world. You can lie, cheat, seduce, threaten, anything you want to get the audience to buy your book, but it's going to only be 1 second. And then, we'll give you a full elevator pitch afterwards, all right? All right, are you ready? Here we go. I'm going to count you in.
I'm ready. There's gonna be pirates.
There's gonna be pirates!
Oh, who lives in a pineapple under the sea? SpongeBob SquarePants.
Perfect.
See, I thought you were just going to say, I just need 2 more pre-orders, but like really quickly.
That would have been That's the one. Oh my god, that would have been good.
That would have
been better.
I was gonna give her a pitch and be like, oh shit, I don't remember what I was gonna say. Something about help me defeat the petty moms or something like that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, we're hashtag Team Petty.
I always feel like I need to warn people. That like it's gonna get spicy, but not until book 3. So it's like it's gonna come.
It's a
It was a nice slow burn. I liked it.
burn.
It's a slow, like people talk about, they're like, oh, but it's a slow burn. They don't get together till the last 3/4 of the book. And I'm like, mine don't get together until book 3.
Spoilers! Damn.
I don't care. I like the slow burn.
Well, I
That's
mean,
my genre.
they're, are we really like they're together? Like,
Yeah, let's be honest. I saw like the little snippet for book 2. Let's be real clear here. They're together.
Let her go.
yeah, they're together. There's just like there's no little hot chili peppers on BookTok until book 3.
Hot chili peppers. All right, so give us the full elevator pitch. Why should they check your book out?
Man, I'm so bad at these. I
Everybody
think
is.
authors as a species are really bad about talking about their own books. But I think that you should read my book because it is a historically accurate retelling of piracy, and it has swashbuckling adventure. It has romance that is going to surprise you and is different than what you see in most books. I have been told by people who have never read a historical romance that they loved this one, and I've been told by people who don't read romance that they loved this book. And I think that this book has a little bit of something for everybody.
Absolutely. Dina, give us your final thoughts and shots on this book, dude.
Final thoughts, Dina?
I hate when you do this to me. It
I
was
know,
so
that's-
good. And it was so refreshing because I'm not really typically a romance reader. I don't read historical anything but it just felt so real and authentic, and I felt like I was transported into this whole world, and I already miss them, and I want to log off right now and go read more, but I don't have more. So I'm like, I'm so lost without more.
Baby, come back.
You loved it even though it didn't have magic. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I know. I kept waiting for magic. I was texting Daniel and I was like, oh my god, when
Yeah.
magic, mermaids.
We
need something.
really need
And then
mermaids, yeah.
I didn't get it, but that was okay. I was so happy with how it was done, and it was all around a good time, guys.
Yeah, and listen,
Well, y'all are gonna get it July 15th-ish.
done.
Yes, ish.
And guys, let me just tell you right now, because Kennedy told you and Dina's told you, if you think you don't like romance, if you think you don't like historical fiction, read this freaking book, because this is the book for people that's going to change your mind, that's going to convert you, because the characters come alive. They are nuanced. They are shades of gray. They are interesting. Every page is fast paced. It's great. It's authentic. It's got funny moments. It's got heartbreaking moments. It's got action. I mean, it checked every box I look for. I knocked this thing out in just a handful of days, and I am a slow reader. And man, this was one of the most pleasant surprises that I've ever come across when we've done this book, because I had no idea what to expect when we started this, and it was outstanding. I get the people that bought the 1,000 people that pre-ordered this. They are going to have an excellent book delivered to them, and they're going to be in freaking love. So I mean, absolutely 5 stars. Cannot recommend this enough.
Thank you so much.
It's good when Daniel starts to stutter because he's so excited and he has so much to say.
It's true. It's true. When I start tripping over words, that means I'm in full golden retriever mode at that point. So
Yeah.
All right, guys. Oh, man, this was such a fun episode. And I'm telling you right now, go check out The Sneaky Lass. the Silver Look Go check out the Sneaky Lass, the Silver Locket Book 1. It's available now on ebook, paperback, and Amazon. You can be part of Team Petty and stick it to that Rebecca with a single K and get this book. You will not regret it, guys. Kennedy, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. I've had a blast.
All right, guys. So, Kennedy, tell the folks at home, since you, again, are the unicorn, you're the only one we know that's not on Twitter. Maybe we can convince you so you can join our little Twitter posse. All right?
Please join Twitter.
Please join Twitter. We'll tweet with you. We'll be your Twitter buddies, okay? But where can the folks find you? What's the social medias? Where can they find anything that Kennedy Sutton's putting out in the world?
You can find me on Facebook as author Kennedy Sutton. You can find me on Instagram as author Kennedy Sutton. And you can find me on TikTok as author Kennedy Sutton. And my website is www.kennedysutton.com. So everything's
Simple.
real straightforward.
Right in there. That's perfect. And, her made-up Twitter handle that doesn't exist is definitely going to be author Kennedy Sutton, guys. So, check it out.
Absolutely.
Dina, where can the folks find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Dinosaurs D. That's D like these nuts.
And producer Sean, where can the folks find you, buddy?
You can find me on Twitter at ShaceHoldu.
What you eating tonight, man?
I have a spicy chicken sandwich for dinner tonight.
Do you think you could?
I'm gonna.
Wait, I had a spicy chicken sandwich for dinner too.
Hey Sean, are you gonna put some human
Chicken buddies.
some human meat on that?
I'm afraid I'll get the jitters or whatever Dina said. So
yeah.
I'm good.
Only if you
Long
eat a
pork.
certain-
Or whatever.
The cannibal jitters.
And guys, you can find me on Twitter at Dan Q Writes Thing. That's Dan Q Writes Thing singular.
Danu.
Yeah, Q doesn't.
Danu.
The letter Q does not exist in the English alphabet anymore.
We decided. Yeah.
Shout out Shannon.
Shout out Shannon. Sink Pick will be praised. Guys, thank you so much for checking us out. We can't wait to see you all again next week. Have a great one. Jazz hands, everyone.
Don't Make It Weird. Hosted by Daniel Quigley and Dina Soros. Produced and edited by me, Sean Holden. Theme music by Amaria. You can find the video version of this show on our YouTube channel or the audio-only version wherever you download your podcasts. If you enjoyed the show, please like and subscribe. It's free to you and it helps us out a ton. Have a message for Dina or Daniel? Leave us a voicemail at 347-69-WEIRD and we'll listen to it on a future episode. Thanks for making it weird with us, and we'll see you next time.